Hello and welcome everyone to Yin Yoga with Kahlia. I'm so happy that you chose to join me today. And if you don't know much about yoga or Yin Yoga in particular, I just want to start by just kind of going over a little bit about what Yin Yoga is and what it helps us accomplish in our yoga practice. So Yin Yoga differs from some of the other types of yoga, particularly vinyasa or vinyasa flow, which is kind of what people usually tend to imagine when they hear the word yoga. It's more of a flowy type vinyasa class where you're moving in and out of poses, and typically one movement is correlated with one breath. So in Yin Yoga, we slow it down a lot. So in Yin Yoga, we're holding poses for longer, and we're letting gravity help us to sink deeper and deeper into those poses. So Yin Yoga is it's very accessible for everyone, and I'll go over some props that you probably have just lying around at home that you can use to help modify any kind of positions that we do. It's very accessible. It's great for increasing flexibility. It's very helpful, in helping to increase our range of motion, which in turn can help us to be able to be more active and to kind of decrease our pain level in general if that's something that we struggle with. Also very good for things like stress reduction, anxiety reduction, things like that. So each pose in Yin Yoga is typically held for about 3 to 5 minutes. I don't count those minutes very, very closely. I more kind of tend to count my breath. So I would encourage you to do the same, to really just, while we're doing this practice, just really, really focus on your breath, taking long, slow inhales, letting out long, slow exhales. And if at any point, you find yourself struggling a little bit, or maybe breathing too fast, or even just kind of losing your pace, just come back to your breath. If that means coming out of the pose, taking a few long, deep breaths and coming back to join us, then that's 100% okay. And we want you to do that. So we want you to listen to your body. We don't ever want anything to be pinching, pulling, or hurting. We'll be stretching quite a bit. And so you'll be feeling stretches, but what I don't want you to feel is any kind of pain or anything like that. So if you do, make sure you slowly and carefully come out of that pose and focus on your breath, and then try to rejoin us, but perhaps with a modification. So what do I mean when I say modifications? Those are different techniques and or items that are going to help a pose become more accessible to us. So for example, if you have lying around the house some blankets, some pillows, some couch cushions that you don't mind using on your yoga mat or on the floor, those are all really, really great props that most people have handy to help us get better positioned in a pose, if that makes sense. So let's say we're in butterfly pose, so which is going to be one of our first poses that we're in a whole butterfly pose, where our the soles of our feet are together, where our knees are obviously open but not touching the floor. So this can be for some people a difficult pose. This might be too much of a stretch for you in your upper thigh area, but putting maybe a pillow or a couch cushion or rolling up a towel and stacking a towel underneath your knees so that that's kind of holding up your knees and you no longer feel that uncomfortable type stretch, then that's going to help that pose become more accessible for you. So I'll let you know what kind of props I would recommend. Were you here in person? With each pose we go through some. Most people won't need any modifications for. Some you might want to just use just to get yourself a little more comfortable, just to maybe cushion your knees or put under your head if we're lying down. And all of that is 100% okay. Just make sure that you're listening to your body, focusing on your breath, and that's about it. So thank you again for being here. If it's within your practice, now would be a great time as we're getting situated on our mats. And I'd invite you to just come to an easy seated position. maybe close your eyes or lower your eyes toward the mat. Maybe just set an intention as you're getting focused with your breath. Just set an intention for your practice today. It could be something that you're thinking about, something that you're worrying about, something that you're happy about, a person that you're thinking about, perhaps maybe what motivated you to get on your mat to join us today. So all of those are our intentions, our hopes, our wishes, our, what's truly in our heart, what we want for ourselves and what we want for others. So closing our eyes or looking down towards our mat, we're just going to sit up nice and straight and tall and just take a few really deep and long breaths. So long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales, and just go at your own pace. We're going to do a few of these. A few rounds of breath. Take one last deep inhale here. And then really sigh and let it out. Very good. So opening our eyes, I'd like us to all just focus on sitting up nice and straight and tall, almost as though an imaginary string is pulling our spine up towards the ceiling. We want to roll our shoulders up and back down, trying to take note of where our shoulder blades are resting. We want those to be nice and even. So rolling our shoulders up to our ears and then back on our spine really helps us to get into a better position for that. So we're going to start with a few stretches, just some simple stretches to get things warmed up, and then we'll move into some of our longer held poses. So we're going to start by stretching out our wrists a little bit. So we're just going to bring our hands up, interlace our fingers, and then just kind of go in a circular motion, either clockwise or counterclockwise or rotating between the two, and just kind of roll those wrists down. In a lot of yoga poses, a lot of weight is placed on our wrists and our hands. So it's good to make sure those things are warmed up. So once your wrists feel warmed up and you can kind of roll them separately as well, we're going to take our left arm out, stretch it across our body, holding just above the elbow with our right hand. And then if we can, kind of curl that left arm around. You can kind of see mine is almost touching my shoulder. We're just going to hold that for a couple breaths just to kind of stretch out our shoulder. One more deep breath here. Sigh it out. And then we can release that arm. Shaking out our shoulders a little bit, we'll go ahead and do the same thing with the right arm, bringing it across our chest, grabbing our arm just above the elbow. Remember, we never want to grab actually on a joint, because we can unintentionally cause some injury there if we do that. So always either above or below a joint, never actually on the joint itself. So again, trying to reach those fingertips around to our right shoulder blade, and we'll just hold this here for a few breaths. One more nice deep inhale here. Sighing it out. We can go ahead and release that arm. So we're going to do a little bit of a counter stretch so that we stretch our shoulder blades the other way. So we're going to take our left arm out and we're going to bring it back around our back. I'm going to spin around so you can see what I'm doing. So we have the palm of our left hand facing out, and it's just about in the middle of our shoulder blade where we want to aim for. Then we're going to inhale and scoop our right arm up, and we're going to bring that right arm down to maybe touch our left fingertips. Maybe we can even hook our hands together. or maybe they're not touching, and that's okay. And if you have a string or a belt or some other item that you can hold on to, it works really well to hold that string in the left hand and then to hold it, well, actually probably to hold it in the right hand first so that it's dangling down, and then grab it with the left hand. And then you can get a nice deep stretch that way. So wherever you're at, we're going to hold that just for a couple breaths. Last deep inhale here. And exhaling, letting it all go. Go ahead and roll out your shoulders a little bit. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll turn around so you can see. Right arm comes out in front of us, curls around back. We want to have the palm of our hand facing out, the back of our hand against our spine, pretty much in between those shoulder blades. Inhale, sweep our left arm up, bending the left arm down, reaching towards those right fingertips if you can. And then we'll hold that there for a few breaths. Actually, I'll turn to this side. Got myself all backwards now. So we have our right arm back, our left arm comes above, and then hooking our fingers if we can, maybe touching fingertips together, maybe holding a belt or a string to help us get that stretch, get into that same position without putting as much stress on our arms or getting ourselves into something that's uncomfortable for us. Listening to our bodies, listening to what our bodies need for this practice. One last deep inhale here. And exhale, letting it go. Go ahead, shake out those arms, shake out those shoulders. Do a couple more stretches before we get started. So coming back to an easy seated position, we're going to inhale, sweep our arms up. Looking out towards our fingertips, we're going to bring our left arm down to the mat. Our right arm curls around our head, resting at the tip of our left ear, and then just gently helping our head over to the side. And if we move our left hand either forward or back, we can kind of control what area of our neck that we're stretching. So really, really listening to our bodies and what we need to stretch tonight. You'll notice a huge difference as to where the stretch is based on where your arm placement is. So when you found the spot that's right for you, we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Deep inhale here. Exhale, release, coming back to center. Go ahead, shake out those shoulders if you need to. Shake out your arms. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, sweeping arms up, looking up to our fingertips. Bringing our right arm down to the mat. Our left arm curls around, resting right at the top of the tip of our right ear. Go ahead, adjust that right arm as needed, kind of playing with where we most need that stretch tonight. And once you've found that spot, we're going to hold it there. One last deep inhale here. And exhale, release. Go ahead, shake out those shoulders. Very good. Some shoulder rolls forward and backwards. All right, so we should be pretty warmed up by now. So we're gonna start getting into some of our deeper poses. So the very first one, I gave you a little preview of earlier. So we're gonna work into Baddha Konasana, or bound ankle pose, and then we're going to be folding forward over our bound ankle pose. So first we're gonna get into position. I'll show you how to do that. We bring the soles of our feet together. Let me turn this down just ever so slightly so that you can better see what I'm doing here. So we're gonna start with the soles of our feet together, and then we're just gonna kind of open them a little bit, like the pages of a book, which is very fitting since this is library yoga, right? So we're in Baddha Konasana, and then what we're gonna do is when we inhale, we're gonna reach our arms up just like we did in the last stretch. And then when we exhale, we're gonna forward fold. So we're gonna forward fold over our feet. Now this is where some of your props might come in handy. So if you have a pillow or a blanket or a couch cushion that you wanna lay across in front of you, that you wanna fold over onto to help make you more comfortable, and to perhaps lift you up a little bit so that you're not folding as far down towards the ground, you're more than welcome to grab that now. Just listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you, and just kind of focus on doing your breathing, long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales. And if at any point that you feel like you need to come out of the pose, definitely back out of it. If you feel like it's too much, a very easy way to do that is to simply scoot our bottoms back, and that's automatically going to decrease the angle. So that's going to be less of a stretch for us. And conversely, if you want to get a deeper stretch, you can just kind of scoot your bottom forward closer to your feet, and that's going to be a deeper stretch. So wherever you're at tonight, we're going to take a moment to sit up nice and straight and tall. Spines are tall, that imaginary spring kind of pulling us up towards the ceiling. We're going to sweep our arms overhead, taking a nice deep inhale here, and then exhale, forward folding over our Baddha Konasana. So this is where we're going to hold the pose for several minutes. So focusing on our breath, focusing on taking long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales, and maybe even imagining as we do so, inhaling positivity, inhaling good things, inhaling happiness and happy thoughts, and then exhaling all of the negative, letting go of anything that's worrying us, that's troubling us, that's that's been bothering us today, or maybe we had a difficult moment earlier. Imagine with every exhale, we're letting more and more of that stress and tension go. So I'd like for you to just think of that while we're in this pose. All right, so we're going to be here for 3 to 5 minutes, so make sure you're comfortable. I'm going to actually turn around this way so that I can fold over onto my mat, and you can see kind of what it looks like from the side. So sweeping our arms up and overhead, nice deep inhale here. And then we're going to exhale and forward fold slowly and carefully over our Baddha Konasana. You can stack your hands if that's within your practice, and rest your forehead on your hands. Taking long, slow inhales. Letting out long, slow exhales. We're about halfway through this pose. Reminding ourselves to keep centered with our breath, Taking in long and slow inhales. Letting out long, slow exhales. Two more breaths here. Last deep inhale. On our exhale, we're going to slowly and carefully start to raise ourselves up, carefully walking ourselves back up to center, back up to neutral. Go ahead and stretch those legs in front of us, bringing our arms and hands behind us with our fingers pointing away from us. We're going to scoot forward a little bit, bending our knees, and then we're just going to windshield wiper our legs back and forth. Just to loosen them up after that stretch, loosen up our hip joints. All right. So our next pose is going to be another forward fold, but we're going to get into wide leg straddle pose first, which is probably exactly as you're picturing it. We're going to extend first one leg and then the other, being mindful, of course, to listen to our bodies, listening to what stretch is and is not okay for us today. The same with Baddha Konasana. If we're wanting less of a stretch, we're going to scoot our bottoms back and decrease the angle of our legs. If we're wanting a deeper stretch, we can scoot our bottoms forward, and that's going to give us a little bit more challenging of a stretch. So we're going to do the same thing that we did in Baddha Konasana. We're going to reach our arms up to the sky. On our inhale, on our exhale, we're going to forward fold. So again, if you want to gather up some blankets, pillows, cushions, anything that you might need in order to be comfortable in this pose, and you probably have a little bit better idea now on what you might need after being in Baddha Konasana. So take a moment to get situated, get our sit bones situated, make sure we're comfortable in this position on our mat, sitting up nice and straight and tall, maybe even rolling those shoulders up and back, getting our shoulder blades in place, inhaling, our arms come up above our head. Nice deep stretch here, nice big inhale. And then exhale, we're gonna forward fold, coming to our forearms, perhaps stacking our hands, resting our head on our hands or on our blanket or bolster or pillow, whatever we choose to use today. And we're gonna be here for several minutes. So make sure you're comfortable. Remember to take long and slow inhales, letting out long, slow exhales. And if you can, on the exhale, maybe creeping into the pose just a little bit deeper, maybe inching your fingers forward, inching down a little bit. If you can, of course, listen to your body, make sure nothing's pinching, pulling, or hurting. If it is, make sure you back out of the pose a little bit and see where you feel lessening that stretch a little bit. So we'll go ahead and start that over again. So nice and straight and tall. Inhale, sweeping arms up. A nice deep inhale here, and then exhale, forward fold. We're about halfway through in this position. Hopefully everyone's comfortable. Good time to check in with your breathing, reminding ourselves to take long, slow inhales in, letting out long, slow exhales out. 3 more breaths here. One more long, slow inhale in. Exhaling very, very slowly, carefully, and gently walking ourselves back up to center. We can go ahead and help our legs come to midline. Go ahead and shake out those legs a little bit, maybe bouncing our knees up and down. We can bring our hands behind us, bending our knees, windshield wipering the legs, just kind of stretch everything out before we move into our next position, which is going to be a reclining position. So we're going to come to one end of our mat, giving ourselves enough room to lean back. If you have a cushion or a couple pillows, or maybe a couple blankets stacked on top of each other, that would be very helpful for this pose to help get you into a comfortable position. We're going to come back to Baddha Konasana, where we were at before. So bringing the soles of our feet together, opening our feet up a little bit like the pages of a book. And then we're going to recline. So we're going to be coming into reclining Baddha Konasana. So what we're going to do is once we're here, once we're sitting up nice and straight and tall, we're going to sweep our arms above, nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, we bring our hands to the ground and very, very slowly start to inch ourselves into a reclining position. And now if you have that blanket or bolster or a stack of towels or couch cushion or whatever you're using, you would, instead of reclining all the way, what you would do is when you're in Baddha Konasana, kind of stack those pillows, blankets, towels, whatever you're using, kind of right at the base of your spine, lying them out long ways, so you'd want them to go the length of the mat. And then when you recline, you'd be reclining over those so that you're not just coming flat on the floor. It's going to give your back a little bit more support. It's a little bit more accessible for most people. So if you tried coming into a lying position like this and you're struggling a little bit, maybe just take a moment to find a couple towels, stack those up, lie those, long ways on the mat, and I think you'll find that that modification helps a lot. So in reclining Baddha Konasana, we have a few options of what to do with our hands. So we can leave our hands at our side. We can have our palms facing up. That's perfectly fine. We can have our hands on our belly. We can have one hand to heart, one hand to belly. If you really want to take note of your breath and feel your breath going in and out, this is kind of a good hand placement to choose. You can rest your hands on your legs if you like, if that's comfortable. For the deepest stretch, you can bring your arms overhead and take opposite hand to opposite elbow, and that's going to kind of stretch out your upper half as well. So wherever you're at, check in with yourself, check in with your body. Most importantly, check in with the breath. Make sure that we're still taking long, slow inhales in, letting out long, slow exhales out, and keep steady with that breath for the duration of this pose. So we'll hold this for a few moments, so please make sure that you're comfortable. If at any point something is not comfortable, make sure that you back out of the pose, refocus on your breath, and perhaps then attempt to come back into the pose in a little bit more gentle of a way. We want our necks to be in alignment. We never want to have our necks falling back. We never want to have our chin pressed into our chest. So If you are lying on something, make sure you're supporting your head too. So if you're lying on some towels or blankets, maybe grab a pillow to put under your head, because we want our necks in alignment. We more or less want to be looking, if we open our eyes, straight up at the ceiling. So this pose does take a little bit to get into, at least when you first start it, but very relaxing pose, very restorative pose. And so we'll be here for a few moments. So reminding ourselves to take those long, slow inhales in, long, slow exhales out. We're about halfway through this pose. About 3 more breaths here. One more nice deep inhale here. And exhale, release. If you have your arms, hands to opposite elbows above you, really go ahead and stretch those arms. Maybe interlace your fingers, bringing the arms back overhead. Nice deep stretch there. We can go ahead and stretch out our legs, bringing them out in front of us for a full body, kind of early morning deep stretch. And then we're gonna bring our knees into our chest and kind of give our knees a hug. So take wrapping our arms around. Again, if we can, taking opposite hand to opposite elbow, and then just rocking back and forth a little bit to rock out our back. If you have any props behind you, obviously you'll want to remove those before you start rocking. And we'll just do this for a couple breaths. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten out our legs one at a time. We're going to bring our left leg back into the chest. So we're going to interlace our fingers just below that left knee. Really, really hug that leg into the chest. Hanging onto it with our right hand, we're going to bring our left arm out to the side. Our right arm comes to the outer part of our left leg and then gently helps it over to the right, while our head turns and looks over those left fingertips. So we're getting a full side stretch here, and we'll just take a couple breaths here. We won't hold it for a full moment. Checking in with those shoulder blades, making sure that they're both flat on our mat. Checking in with our breath, making sure we're taking long, slow inhales in, long, slow exhales out. 2 more breaths here. Nice deep inhale here. And exhale, bringing everything back to center. Go ahead and give that left leg a hug again. Maybe bring the right leg to meet it. Roll out your back a little bit. And then we can go ahead and hang on to the right leg this time, stretching our left leg out in front of us. Go ahead and interlace your fingers if you can, right below that right knee. Remember, we never want to pull or put any pressure on our joints. Just kind of rocking back and forth, hugging that knee into the chest, really opening up those hip flexors. We're going to hang on to our right leg with the left hand. Our right arm comes out to the side, forming a half T type position, while our left arm comes to the outer part of our right leg, helping it over to the left. And then when you're ready, we're going to turn our head and look over those right fingertips, getting a full side stretch on that opposite side. Long, slow inhales here. One more long deep inhale here. Exhale, bringing ourselves back to center. Go ahead, hug that right leg in, hug that left leg in. Give your legs one last big hug, rocking back and forth. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly extend one leg at a time, coming into our final resting pose. Now you may want to adjust yourself on your mat a little bit, giving yourself enough room so that your whole body fits on the mat. And while you're in Shavasana, I'm going to bring to you a guided meditation, which I found that guided meditations are very helpful, especially for those of us that are just starting meditation. Because meditation, true meditation, where you're sitting and breathing, and that's all you're doing, letting thoughts come and go in your brain, it's hard for a lot of people. It was very hard for me when I first started, and sometimes still is a challenge. So with guided meditation, I'm going to read words to you so that you can focus on those words, letting the words come into your head, and then letting those words come out. So words come in, you'll have a visual inside your head, and then they come out. So try not to focus on any one thing, just listening, visualizing, and letting go. So we're going to all come into Shavasana, and I'll show you what that looks like first. So our feet are at the end of our mat. We're going to fully recline. Our arms are at our sides with our palms facing up. We want to just kind of let our feet fall out to the side, just completely relaxing our feet. Coming to a place of complete relaxation, making sure those shoulder blades are flat on our mat, making sure our head's in alignment. We're looking straight at the ceiling at this point. And then I would invite you to close your eyes, focus on your breath, and focus on relaxing. And that's what I'm going to read to you, is a guided meditation on relaxation. So while you have your eyes closed, just try to focus on my words. Visualize those words and then let them go. Now, if you're doing yoga at home, of course, and you don't have someone to read to you a guided meditation, there are a lot of really great guided meditation, either videos or sound recordings on YouTube. There's a lot of really great scripts that you can find online. And that's a great way to kind of, end your practice if you're practicing at home. So hopefully everyone is settled into a comfortable position, settling into Shavasana, eyes closed, breathing normally, taking a moment now to notice how you're feeling, how you are doing right now in this moment. How does your body feel? Take a moment to scan your body, starting at your feet, simply noticing how each part of your body is feeling. Notice your feet, your ankles, your legs, your hips. Continue scanning your body, moving upward towards your stomach, back, chest, and sides. Mentally scan your arms, hands, and shoulders, your neck, your head, and your face. Notice where your body feels the most tense. Notice where it feels the most relaxed. Just notice the state of tension and the state of relaxation within your body. Notice now how your body relaxes bit by bit without any effort on your part. See how your muscles become a little bit looser, less tense, naturally, just because you are taking this moment to sit quietly and relax. Without any effort or input from you, without you even trying, your body becoming slightly more relaxed with each passing moment. Think about your body image. What is body image? Maybe you think about the picture in your mind you have of what your body looks like. Maybe it's the ideas you have about your body, your feelings about your physical self. Perhaps body image is a vision of how you think your body should be. Take a moment just to think what body image means to you. Take a moment now to consider your thoughts and ideas about your own body. How are you feeling right now thinking about your body image? You might feel neutral, content, comfortable, uncomfortable, satisfied, dissatisfied, happy or unhappy, angry, afraid, accepting, maybe a combination of all these things. Contradictory feelings are common, and it is okay to feel however you are feeling. Feelings make us human. What might it be like to accept your body exactly as it is? What if you felt okay with your physical self? Imagine for a few moments what that would be like. Hopefully, you are already there. Think about a time in your life when you felt accepting of your physical self, your whole self, or even a part of yourself. Which parts of your body are the easiest for you to accept? Imagine, if you could, that you accept your body as a whole, rather than a collection of individual parts. You have been doing some difficult thinking these last few moments. We're going to take a step back now mentally to relax. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out deeply. In and out. In and out. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. Breathing in all the good that surrounds us. Breathing out all of the negativity that we may have accumulated throughout our day, our week, or even a difficult year. It feels good to take these deep, calming breaths. Relaxing for a moment, notice your breathing, notice your breaths. If there are any areas where you are feeling tense, direct your attention to these areas as you breathe, imagining that with each breath in brings relaxation and each breath out expels tension. Breathing in relaxation, breathing out tension. Each breath relaxes you even further. Now I will say to you some body image affirmations. You can repeat these if you want to, or you can simply relax as I say them. Each affirmation is true, even if it may not seem true right now. I am okay the way I am. I can accept myself the way I am. My body is acceptable just the way that it is. I am a good person. I accept this body that I am in. There is no need to be perfect. In fact, perfection does not exist. My imperfections make me unique. I am perfectly imperfect, just the way I am. My body is a functioning whole, and it is more than its individual parts. I am human, and all humans have flaws. I can accept my imperfections, and I am free of judgment from my own body. I am okay just the way I am. I accept myself. Now that you have repeated some affirmation, take note on how you're feeling. What was it like to repeat or to listen to these affirmations? It is okay to feel however you are feeling right now, good or bad or neutral. Accept the variety of feelings that you may have. Now take a moment just to relax. Let all the worries and tensions go as you breathe slowly in and out, in and out. Breathing slowly, deeply, and naturally. Now very, very slowly, I want you to start to return to your waking level of consciousness, bringing ourselves back into the room. We're going to start by wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes, maybe making some circles with our wrists and our ankles while we're still in Shavasana. There's no hurry to get up. Take your time. Go at your own pace. So once we've woken up our hands and feet, we're going to take a nice deep stretch overhead. Whether you're already sitting or you're in Shavasana, go ahead and interlace those fingers and just press your palms up and above your head, really getting a nice deep stretch. If you're still lying down, I invite you to roll over onto your side very slowly and gently. And I'll actually kind of show you what that looks like from Shavasana. We're just going to roll over onto our side, bending our legs, maybe using our one arm as a little pillow. And we've come into recovery pose, or recovery position. Just take a couple breaths here, maybe just one or two. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly and carefully bring ourselves back up to seated, where we'll meet again in an easy seated position of your choice on our mat. And I invite you all to bring your hands to heart center. Either close your eyes or just lower your gaze down towards your mat. I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing to practice with me today. I am grateful and thankful that you joined me. The light in me honors and respects light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me, Miss Kahlia, for Yin Yoga. I hope to see you again very soon. If you have any questions about anything at all, feel free to email us at our program's email here at White Lake Library. And I hope that I will see all of you again very soon. Thank you for joining me, and namaste.